Welcome to the Digital Forensics Now podcast. Today is Friday, August 29, 2025. My name is Alexis Brignoni, here inside my car, aka Briggs, and I'm accompanied by my co-host, the work-from-home examiner, the management master of disaster, the tester-in-chief, the one and only Heather Frontier. The music is hired up by Shane Ivers and can be found at silvermansound.com. Heather.
Hello. Work from home.
Look, I went. Yeah, I mean,
I'm not doing any work from home today.
I'm being kind. You're just at home doing nothing.
Pretty much.
Hey, look. I started having a room for the show. Then I had a closet, and now in my car. It's going backwards.
So I was going to say, have you been banished from the under the stairs cupboard?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm gonna do the show under a bridge next time. I'm gonna touch bottom right there.
It looks good. I like the new office. It's got a lot of windows.
yeah, not the computer kind. Just plain actual car windows. Now, for the folks that are listening, I'm doing it from the car. Today's an odd time for us to be doing the show at 1 o'clock, but schedule's been crazy, and the evening is crazy, and the evening last night was crazy, so we're doing it during the day. Now, for example, Christian Peters in the chat,
he's very excited.
That's good. He's way earlier.
It's not bedtime.
Time.
Yes, it's not bedtime.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, Christian.
So at least the folks from other places that want to be live, they got a better chance of doing it at a more reasonable time.
Yeah, definitely.
So Heather, so what's going on? What's going on with you? Tell me.
So last podcast, we did the what's been going on, and I didn't even mention that I'm now working for Hexordia as a trainer. I can't believe I forgot to mention it. So I'm working with the wonderful Jessica Hyde and her great crew, and we'll be training for some of her classes.
Well, that's fantastic. We taught together for 2-3 years now. So I like the cut of your jib. So it's pretty good. Folks are gonna like the class because the content and having just an instructor. So they're Exordia's pretty lucky to have you. So I'm really happy for that.
Oh, I'm so excited. Can't wait to start. Not next week, the week after I start. So can't wait.
Yeah, no, for sure. And hopefully you can come in some of that referral money.
Yeah. I'll just send it down to you. Yeah. What's been going on with you?
You don't need no referrals. You're worldwide known at this point.
Thanks. What's been going on with you the last few weeks?
Not much. Before I tell you, Forensic Wizard, my good friend, is in the chat. Also, Kevin, our right-hand man with the Leaps, and Johan. It's also at a more earlier time than usual, so good to see him here as well.
He doesn't have to set his alarm and wake up in the middle of the night.
Or just watch it in the morning when he wakes up or something. We're actually live. No, Johan's a good sport. He shows up even though it's really late over where he's at, so we appreciate it. So a lot of work, really busy. Cases coming in. So honestly, there's nothing really new. No trips, no nothing. Just work, trying to survive, adjusting to the changes, and looking forward to the future.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah.
So we'll get right into our topics then for the day. So I can go back to working from home.
Appearance of working.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, the fact that we have now a few folks in the chat, I'm surprised at this time. So I'm happy. Thanks everybody for showing up. They're like, it's 1 o'clock. I don't know nobody will show up, but I appreciate it. Folks in their lunch hour just showing up. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. So a few announcements. So first, I don't know if everybody saw or if you saw, the SANS Difference Maker Awards is now open. So nominations are open now through Monday, September 15th. And there's quite a few categories for the SANS Difference Maker Awards. They have Practitioner of the Year for 4 different categories, actually. They have a Community Champion of the Year, Rising Star of the Year, Media Creator of the Year, which can include podcast, live stream, or book. Innovation of the Year, Company of the Year, CISO of the Year, and Lifetime Achievement Award. So if you know anybody who you want to nominate for any of those categories, that is open now. And you can Google it, or we'll have, I'm not going to keep that up. We'll have the link in the show notes for that.
Are those all the other categories now? Is that what they
Yeah.
are?
Yep.
Yeah, because a few years back, we won the open source tool of the year for the Leaps, but I don't think that's a category anymore. I guess it's more directed at individuals as opposed to tooling organizations, I guess. Well, there's
maybe
a company
like
of the year, but
an innovation of the year, maybe would fit. Yeah.
No, it's a good event. I don't know if they did it when I went. They did it in DC. I don't know if it's still there, but and they have a nice dinner there, and then they talk about the awards and they stream it. So it's a good event, recognizing folks that put the work in. So like you said, if you know somebody that would be encouraged by that recognition, then put them in. And
absolutely.
And let's see what happens.
Yes, absolutely. So another little announcement, Magnet Forensics is going to have a webinar airing on September 17th. It's going to be entitled AI Unpacked #5, The Great AI Debate with Digital Forensics Now. So Alexis and I are going to join Brandon Epstein from Magnet Forensics, and we're going to have an AI debate. I know last podcast, I promised that there would be no AI this week or this next episode, but we do have to just give a quick announcement that that'll be coming out on September 17th.
I think I've become the official AI curmudgeon. Is that the word? Curmudgeon? Is that the word? Yeah.
I was a hater, but yeah.
Hater is a strong word. It might still apply. It's still a strong word. So,
I hated it, and you have completely surpassed my hatred for AI.
No. Look, not hate. Let's call it skepticism. I'm the AI skeptic.
Okay.
That's a little bit better. Hey, look, I'm more than happy to be proven wrong. So I hope I'm wrong. I don't think I am, but
I don't think so either.
Well, this is the thing. You see, Sarah's gonna be the moderator. I'm already, buying her in, and so she can be on my side in this debate. No, I'm kidding. The fact is that I believe skepticism is warranted for new technologies. I think we should all be a skeptic of new and old technologies in general. But no, I think it's important to also have two sides of the story, right? We got the side that speaks to how good things are, how beneficial they are, but we got to also talk about, I believe, the risks that these new tools come with, and the proper methods and procedures to effectuate the use of it if it's warranted. So we're gonna have a debate on that. I don't think we're gonna be that far off on this debate. I think we come from, how can I say this, an understanding that new tooling is a good thing. So I think we both agree on that, but we'll see how things shake out. Hopefully we're planning, and we'll see how we can plan this with Brandon, to also maybe do a revisit in a longer time format, so we can go into more depth, because these type of episodes with Magnet tend to be a little bit more shorter based on the format. So stay tuned. We might have a second go around with a little bit more time to go into more details.
Yeah, and everybody can register for that now on the Magnet website too. So just go sign up, and the webinar again will be September 17th. And there, you just got your little bit of AI in. That's it.
I will find a way to complain and be more skeptic about AI somewhere in the show. I don't know where, but I'll find a way.
Oh, I know you will. Let's see. So blogs. There's a couple of new blogs out by the Binary Hick, Josh Hickman. Fairly new entries that he has. So the first one is called Further Observations, more on iOS Search Party. And Josh takes a look into how iOS was keeping tabs on what Find My compatible devices it was seeing in the wild. He investigates and performs testing in that blog on files found in the com.apple.icloud.searchpartyd location. And specifically, he talks about his testing related to the observations database. The research reveals that retention time for that data is likely around 24 hours. So more reason to get your extraction ASAP. But it confirms that iOS devices are keeping track of all of the Find My compatible devices that they see, a lot like the way Android does it. And it gives examiners another source of location data on iOS. Who doesn't love some additional sources of location data?
Yeah, and a good thing about the article is that he goes into the process of how he was able to get to it. There's encryption involved, and he kind of briefly explains, where the IV is, or the initialization vectors, or the salt that you need for the passwords or the passcodes, and then the keychain gets involved. That's where the actual key is, right? And then what type of encryption this database uses. I don't think there is an automated way of doing it right now. That's something that I know Kevin is in the chat. We need to converse a little bit about how can we implement that. In theory, it shouldn't be that bad since already Josh gave us all the pieces that we need to do it. Right. It's just sitting down and doing it. It's just, we're always lack of time. I'm talking about Kevin. He made a comment. See, I'm going to bring AI again.
You got to do it.
Talking about, I guess, referring back to the previous topic about the debate. It's going to be like Gemini versus ChatGPT versus Claude. And I'm like, no, I think it's going to be more of a AI as a in our field versus me being a skeptic about AI in our field. It's going to be, I guess, more of a broader discussion. But yeah, this whole Gemini versus ChatGPT versus Claude, that's a whole nother story for another episode.
Yeah. So Josh Hickman, Binary Hick, had another blog recently too, and it's titled "Not Strange Bedfellow: Samsung Rubin and Digital Wellbeing." So this one is kind of like a public service announcement for all examiners that have relied in the past on data from Samsung's Rubin and Digital Wellbeing. And if you don't know what those databases are, they're the device pattern of life databases for a Samsung device. So kind of just the pattern of how the device user is using that device. It covers some strange behavior that people have seen related to those databases. I know I've seen a little bit of strange behavior related to those databases, and other people have called in to Josh asking if he knew about it. So he went and examined it, tried to figure out why the strange behavior was happening. So if you encounter a phone using both Rubin and the Digital Wellbeing, the two items need to be examined together in order to get the full picture of what's happening on the device. He specifically talks in the blog about device unlocks and odd behavior related to boots of the device. So check out that blog and make sure you're looking at those two databases together so you're not missing important data related to your case.
And these blogs are great. I would have assumed that if you have a Samsung phone, it would be only Rubin, right?
Yeah.
I had no idea that you could actually use both. And I think there was like a particular entries. I think it's this device locked or unlocked. I don't remember which. Mm-hmm. Then I'm gonna show up in one of the data stores, but not on the other one.
Yep.
So, which again, being the device unlocked be important in your case, of course. So you definitely have to look into those. And I appreciate folks like Josh that put this research out, because some of these things I would have never thought if he hadn't done that testing. So that's pretty awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. It is the unlocks that you're talking about. So unlocks, in the Samsung, it's traditionally in the Digital Wellbeing, and in the Samsung, it's pushed over to Rubin, the device unlocks. So
I think Rubin is also encrypted, but tooling nowadays is able to decrypt that and make it accessible to you.
Yes, I love the Samsung Rubin stuff because it also has some really good location data in it. And when the key store wasn't being pulled for a very short period of time by tools, and I couldn't get that data, needed it. And this is
another
reason why we need to have all of that data.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So a little tool that I saw recently people were posting about on LinkedIn from Monolith. So Monolith Notes is a free tool that Monolith has right on their website. You just have to put your email address in and they'll email you an executable for their free note-taking tool. I'm just going to pop it up on the screen here. Let's see. If you don't know what Monolith is, they have like case management software. I have not gotten a chance to use their case management software. Have you, Alex?
I have not. I have not.
Yeah, so I hear really, really good things about their case management software. So if anybody gets a chance on a demo or sees them at a conference, definitely check that out. But they do have this really simple, neat little note-taking tool that is for free. So it opens there, and you can hit New Case, put in all of your case information. I'm just going to put some stuff in here. Let's see. See if I can, there we go. And then once you open your case, you can click on New Note, title your note. So we'll call it Case Notes. And once you have a title for your note, there's this free-form text box here where you can just start taking your notes. Taking notes. Once you do that, there's an option to export the current note, and it'll export that note as a PDF. And let me just pull
convenient.
up. Yeah, I'm just going to pull up. I created a PDF from a little test note here that I created. So let me pop it up to the screen here. If I can, of course. I am terrible with the sharing of the screens. There we go.
It's only been 2 years doing the show. You'll get there.
I can't do it.
You'll get there someday.
I can't. I know, it's terrible. So there it is. It just literally creates a little PDF with, I had titled my note names and numbers, and then I have the Wizard of Oz people here with their phone numbers. And if you put in a new note in the same case, it'll just have another note page. So check that out. It's really cool, really easy to use, simple, especially if you're a smaller department and maybe you don't have note-taking capabilities or a note-taking software in your office. I know that I am queen of the sticky notes. This may be an option to use instead of the sticky notes.
Yeah, I think that's, yeah. Here for discovery. You have a page, with 3x3 sticky notes.
So I do. I scan them all in. I've tried to get away from that though.
Oh my gosh! Told me that. I would have put that in the intro.
Yeah, no, seriously, it's like a joke in the office because you come into my office, there are sticky notes everywhere. So this little note-taking app is very helpful.
So somebody will start using it now.
Yeah. Oh, I've been. Yes, I've been trying it out. Definitely. So
I do my notes by hand also, but I have like a form with little boxes that I write stuff in. But definitely typing them up is so much better. Also to again export them out and be able to give them out looks way more professional. So maybe I should be effort too and try to type them out instead of just having a form that I scribble my notes in.
Well, now you have a little tool you can try out for that.
I just like the price,
Oh, I like the price too. It's a good price.
Yeah.
So what else do we have? Some recent chatter on LinkedIn I wanted to bring up. So Patrick Seward, he is on LinkedIn, and he recently had a post about CSAM cases, and he asked a whole bunch of really good questions. When's the last time you took a CSAM case to trial? And he said in his experience, they don't go to trial very often. And in his very recent experience with the CSAM trial in Virginia, it suggested that the investigation and preparation for the trial were seriously lacking. He, in his post, attributes that to the fact that, the CSAM case doesn't usually go to trial. So do we need to fully investigate? Do we need to fully prepare? The answer is always yes to those questions. But he's saying he's seeing CSAM cases weekly that should not be prosecuted due to lack of concrete provable evidence. And my thoughts on that are the concrete provable evidence is probably there, but did we do a good enough job creating a presentable report for court to show that concrete provable evidence? I think of conversations I've had with people in the past where they're like, oh, well, I just need those 10 images. I don't need anything else. I just need the 10 images. And you can't fully prosecute a CSAM case just based off of 10 images with no context to those images and no further artifacts that show how they got there, where they went, who interacted with them. What do you think?
Well, look, I mean, like always, and we always this is to be a given, but we're gonna say it again. The opinions expressed here are ours and only ours. Don't reflect our
Absolutely.
employers or workplaces or any organizations we are affiliated with. Now, that being said, right? Um, there, I don't believe that the prosecutors and the investigators go to trial uh, thinking they don't have what they need. That doesn't mean they have it.
Right.
But I cannot attribute malice or just say, well, since this case is always pleading, the next one's gonna plead, therefore I'm not gonna prepare. I don't think that's what's really happening. My take or my perception is that a lot of people are working these cases, and since they haven't gone to trial as much, they haven't been put to the test in regards to how they are running these cases and the knowledge they have about the violations of law that they're working. For example, and I'll make one up that just came into my head. Let's say the investigator is looking at somebody that had CSAM in a mobile device. If you have it, you possess it, and you're like, well, yeah, it's your phone, is the you have the code, and you had it, therefore you possessed it. Go to jail, and and don't go to jail. Don't what's in Monopoly? You don't collect 20 and go to jail, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. All right.
Do not pass go.
I do not pass go and straight to jail. Okay. All right. Well, if you look at the again, this is an example I'm making up, but imagine your different jurisdictions. In some jurisdictions, the possession violation or charge might have the statute might require for the person to be able to us say that it possessed it, it had to be knowingly possessed.
Right.
Well, what does knowingly mean, right? Did during the investigation were there statements that the person knew that was there? Because it might have been by accident, it might have been other situations, right? And do we as investigators have the knowledge? You say, well, that's on the prosecutor. Well, is it though, right? And remember, the prosecutors sometimes work off of what we tell them as investigators, right? So I need, as an investigator, to have a clear understanding what the statutes are and how they're applicable as I'm doing my investigation. And if I don't have that because I came into the unit and the senior agent or senior, detective is just telling me, oh, here's how we do it, and then you do it how they do it, and that gap expands, that knowledge gap expands, and I don't think people are thinking of doing anything wrong.
Oh, I don't either.
Yeah, I think again, Patrick's post still has a good point, right?
Yes.
We need to be better prepared. We need to actually know our statutes. We need to know the technology behind it. Just because you found the pictures using a UFDR, a portable case, well, that's not enough, right? Because you can say, well, the pictures were not taken with the phone, if because let's say it's a picture from CSAM that I know from a previous series that exists, right? So therefore, they were received. That's a charge. Well, are you aware that receipt requires you to actually show from where they were received?
Yes.
Right?
Right, exactly.
Just because their phone didn't take them because you've seen it somewhere else doesn't mean that you can now just by that fact, sounds logical in your head, but that's not what the statute requires. Statute requires you need to actually show the distinct way this got from point A to point B. Are you looking that into your case, or are you just hoping that the person pleads out, right? But again, not with malice. I don't think the investigators sometimes don't understand at that level of detail what the statute requires versus what the forensics might show. Which speaks, and I'm getting in my soapbox here, which speaks of if you're working these cases, actually, if you're working any sorts of cases, and you got an element that does use of forensics in your unit or in your organization, you need to talk to them. You need to brief them on your case, explain what your theory of the investigation, your theory of the case is, right? I am not going to get that by looking at your case file. Case file is full of facts. It's just facts, what we found. That's it. But facts by themselves don't tell me the story. You need to explain to me what the theory of the case is, and I can tell you then how forensics either supports or doesn't support that theory of the case, because the theory of the case could be wrong. Maybe you're thinking this person is guilty and it's not, or maybe you're thinking it's innocent and it happens to be guilty, right? We might think this person is the actual victim, which has happened in cases that I've worked, and then we figure out the person was not a victim. It was actually involved into the, for lack of a better word, conspiracy of the crime, right? So we have to have a really open mind in regards to that. Leave all those presuppositions to the wayside. Be biased in favor of truth. We said this before, but know your violations, know your statutes. Make sure you interface with your examiner. Make sure you work with your prosecutor, and we give him or her all the information that we have to make those better decisions. And you know, it, it's a lot of personal issues there, right? You can have an crusty old prosecutor that thinks he knows everything, and he's not aware how technology has changed in the last 15 years, and that's a challenge.
Absolutely.
Or you have the brand new prosecutor, brand spanking new out of law degree college, just passed the bar, and has no idea of the intricacies of working some CSAN cases and the multiple violations and the expertise. So you as an investigator have to bridge those gaps, those personal issues, personality issues, technological issues, law issues. And I don't know. That's something that I guess our training programs should really start dialing in a little bit more of that. Hey, you're working this type of violations as a detective. This is what you need to know. I don't know if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
No, I absolutely agree. So, I mean, the post where it said, I said preparation for trial is seriously lacking. I'm not saying that it is done intentionally or with malice, obviously. I think sometimes newer analysts or newer investigators that are working in digital forensics also may not be aware yet of what they need to actually go to trial. Maybe they haven't gone to a trial at all. This will be their first trial and they just don't know what they need to adequately testify. But you're right. The only way that we can all be on the same page with that would be through training and knowledge, 100%.
Yeah, and trials. I've gone to a few. Well, I testified in quite a few trials.
Yeah.
And I think that the next topic is going to speak a little bit more about that. So I want to get into it. But you gotta, let me put it this way. Of course, we got to prepare for trials, right? And like Brett Shaver says in the next point, next section, that's a test for you. But imagine there's no trials. Imagine that they didn't exist, right? It don't matter. Like we have to have this conviction that we are doing the best job that could possibly any human being do, right? That we're looking for the evidence and the truth and an understanding of what we're trying to prove or disprove, because we forget about disproving. The act of proving is just the other side of the coin of disproof, right? It's one coin that has two sides, right? And we need to be aware of that and act and think in that way. If I'm finding that I just a gap in my knowledge where I am not being able to effectively come to a certain conclusion, that means I need to up my game. That means I need to reach out to folks that have been doing it longer, have some peer review in my reports, or talk to investigators that have been doing this longer. If you have, in some offices, at these federal offices, for example, there's prosecutors that have a lot of experience working CSAM cases, that they're managing some of those safe safe childhood projects. There we go. Project Safe Childhood. There we go. I said it right now. That manage that program. It's a DOJ program, right? That is focused on protecting children. Reach out to your point of contacts there, and hey, look, this is the facts of my case, and there are resources that you can use both at the state, federal, and local level to make sure you have the strongest case possible. Because of if there's, we said it before on the show, there's no other violations, at least from our perspective, and I'm going to speak for both of us. I know you will agree, that are more important than protecting women and children. That's just how it is, right? The most vulnerable elements of society, we should be on it, and take it with the seriousness and the importance that it has. There's no other bigger priority than protecting those that are vulnerable, and that's our mission, and that's what we do, and we need to do it right.
Yeah, definitely agree. So you kind of already started talking about Brett Shaver's most recent article. So it is Courtroom Trials Are the Final Exam for Your Work. Why haven't you attended one? His article talks about digital forensics and evidence professionals often lacking exposure to courtroom settings, even though trials are the true test, and presentation of your work. So observing courtroom proceedings helps us understand how evidence is challenged, admitted, or excluded, and shows the importance of clear documentation, chain of custody, and communication. So the overall theme of Brett's article is he's encouraging people to attend trials or hearings, not just when required, but to build that confidence to improve your practice. And he says even a single day in court can transform how someone prepares and presents their evidence, making their work more reliable and defensible. So I could not agree with this more. When I first started working in this field, my very first trial, it wasn't my first time in a courtroom because I was a probation officer prior to doing digital forensics, but it was my very first time testifying to the work that I was about to present. And I went without ever having witnessed anybody else testify in that manner. And I think I did okay. Could I have done better? Certainly. It was my very first trial. But had I had that opportunity to go and watch some of the people in the office who'd been testifying for quite some time, I think I would have done things quite a bit differently. And I would have known what was coming next, because that was probably the worst part of it for me. Is I had no idea where we were going next. What was going to be the next question? There was actually my very first trial, an objection to something I said, where they wanted to get my entire phone tossed out. And I had no idea what I was supposed to do during that part of the trial. Do I sit there and listen? Am I supposed to speak? So getting that courtroom exposure is so super important. New employees that come into my office, I take to conferences, to hearings, to trials. We watch some of the more seasoned examiners. We watch some of the newer examiners. Maybe it's their first time testifying. And then afterwards, the following day, or if we have time that day, we'll have like an after action meeting where we talk about what they think they did good, what they think they could improve upon. And it helps those new people understand, but it also provides that constructive criticism for the person who was just on the stand. I think that is so beneficial to somebody new, and I wish that had been available when I first started.
Well, and new people and people are not so new. For example, there might be folks that they come to work and they are working a violation that's not one where you take people to jail too often, right? Let's say you're working some intelligence cases. Well, you're not gonna be placing a lot of people in jail, and you do that for many years. And then you move to a unit that's working safe streets, which is what that means is we're working cases with the locals, trying to bust drug rings, out on the street, get drugs off the drugs off of the street. Well, you're gonna be doing a lot of arrests, most likely, right? So now what? So what that means is that you need to, as an investigator, no matter what you're doing, have that in part of your process in your mind. Something as simple as going with some other agents that are testifying to the local courthouse from your district or your division, wherever you're at. Only just sitting in the room helps, because the moment you sit in that room yourself, you are familiar with the place where people sit. The defense goes here, the prosecution goes there. That's the testimony box. This is where the transcriber person goes. The judge sits over here. The jury goes over there, and you get a feel for the room, and that keeps your nerves down, because you're not walking into this unknown space. I'm familiar with the space. I know the protocols and procedures for that courthouse. When the judge comes out, we all stand up, and then we all sit down when we told to be to sit down. Like, you get familiar with that, and that helps keep those nerves down, because you're nervous because it's an unknown environment. Then make it known. And part of the process isn't only going to the courthouse. Some things that I do, I read a lot of books about debating. Not because I'm going to debate at court. You don't want to do that. You're not to debate. You're to testify. But the act of understanding how to present ideas clearly will help you when you testify. You can have the best examination in the world, and if you cannot convey the conclusions in a way that's understandable to the jury and credible, that the jury will believe that you know what you're talking about, you can lose the case. And we talked about this, Heather and myself, in the past, where great cases that we believe should have gone one way, for a lack of presentation, go another way. And only a lack of presentation, a lack of clarity on your credentials. Don't put stuff in your documentation about your resumes that will make you look good if you cannot back it up. Does that make sense? So,
definitely.
Going to court is not only how you prepare your documentation and how you show your evidence, it's also about how you present yourself. And people take their resumes, and at some point we embellish them a little bit because we want to get hired for a job or whatever. Courthouse, there's no embellishment. You're not there to get a job. All right. Your resume has to accurately reflect what you did. Your experience has to actually reflect things you have done. right? The certifications have to actually reflect things that you have acquired and maintain if you maintain them. And if you don't, you gotta make that clear. Does that make sense? So it involves a whole bunch of things that also translate to other parts of your job. Because if you make an effort to know your environment, you make an effort to understand how to present things clearly, you read books about debating, read books about public speaking, right? That will filter out to the rest of your life. It's not only in the
Hmm.
courthouse. You'll be better when you talk to your managers or your squad when you're presenting things, or you'll be better when you do a presentation to the community. You'll be better whenever you like in my case, I hope to retire at some point and go and work for private sector, make my own company. I don't know, but you will have some skills that you build out to your career that will help you, and it will help you overall. So I guess I kind of expand the concept that whatever things that you do in preparation for court, they're also preparation for life, and we forget about those. We're too busy looking at Instagram in the afternoons to actually spend a few minutes. Why are you laughing, huh?
Yeah. Just
you're, a
laughing.
you're a TikTok person. You're a TikTok person.
I
All right,
am. I
let me
am.
say
I'm
it.
addicted.
TikTok, yeah. Some people spend time on TikTok that could have spent doing something else, learning how to present things in a better way. Look, I'm
There's
saying
like
that because
cute.
that person is me.
There's like cute little animals dressed in jeans and outfits and stuff. Stop.
Yeah, there are AI babies that need
Yes.
to tell you something. Uh, no, but
Um.
Brett's point is great, and
Yeah.
please go. Even if you're not testifying, go and watch other people testify. Watch trials
Absolutely.
on YouTube and see how they
Yeah.
went. What's good, what's
Yeah.
bad. Take what's good and what not. Mhm.
Even watch other sections. So I took a group of newer examiners one time to go watch one of our analysts testify, and she didn't end up getting on that day. But you know who else testified? DNA, firearms, and a couple the ME.
Oh,
And they got to sit through that. They'd never seen anything like that or that type of testimony either. So if you can't get in to see one of your examiners, just go watch a trial. Any
the,
trial.
the the rigor the rigor that the folks that do DNA, they do ballistics,
Mm-hmm.
they do all the other fields. That rigor is so impressive. That's the rigor of work that we need to have as well in our field, that we should
Yes.
emulate. Like you said, just because they're not doing forensics in computers doesn't
Right.
mean there's nothing for you to learn from them. There's a lot you
Right.
can learn from them.
Oh
So
yes.
that's a great point. How they do their presentation and the detail and the rigor which they do their uh, their presentation, worthwhile watching, even if it's not about computers or phones.
Definitely. Definitely. So we have a question. So have you ever gone through a Daubert, and do you think a Daubert is the same for criminal defense expert and prosecution expert? I've actually never sat for a Daubert hearing. I don't know if you have, but I have not. I've watched them. So specifically, there were Daubert hearings in that Karen Reed trial that was all the buzz not too long ago. I think they questioned the criminal defense experts just as they did the prosecution experts in that. But that's kind of my only real experience is just what I've seen. I haven't actually gone through that process.
Yeah, I've gone through it a couple of times, but for me it was fairly easy. It was just it was more of my qualifications,
Hmm.
and there was no contesting the qualifications. Dauber gets complicated when the sides are contesting something specific about the person or the process, the procedure
Hmm.
that the examiner or the scientist used for something. That's where it gets dicey. Because I think this again, these are my opinions. Look, there's an old, it's an old commercial that said, I'm not a doctor, but I stayed at Holiday Inn last night. It's a really old commercial. People that are old as me will know the reference. So yeah, I
Yeah.
stayed at Holiday Inn last night. I'm no lawyer, but um, what you see is that if there's an issue with the process, because Dauber is not only about the qualification of the expert, it's also about the methodology, how the work
Hmm.
is being done, right? And you can look that up in the rules of federal criminal procedure. They state clearly that is this process accepted in the field? What's
Right.
the error rate? Is it replicable? It could be done again. Those get somewhat dicey, but like Heather says, it could apply to both sides, right?
Right.
Both defense and prosecution.
Absolutely.
If there's something that needs to be questioned, for me, it's being, like I said, pretty easy. It was more of my qualifications, just presented. The judge agreed that I was an expert. Same with the expert of the defense. And at the end of the day, judges, my opinion is that they defer a lot to the judgment of the jury. So if something might be, it's not super clear cut, that is not scientific or whatever it is, then the jury will make the decision of what's true or not. This is
Mhm.
my opinion, of course. My opinion for what it's worth, all right? I'm not talking in the name of anybody else. And that's what I've seen, that the judges will listen. If they don't see anything glaringly, obviously wrong, then they'll let the jury decide where the truth is. Sometimes for me, some of those decisions I might have, as a citizen and knowledge in my field, I might gone on one side of the opinion or the other side of the opinion, but the judges have the legal knowledge to determine when it's appropriate to put something in front of the jury and when something is not worthy of putting in front of the jury. And that's the judge's discretion based on their training, their legal experience, and their authority. And that's respected, and we go by what the judges and the jury say, and that's the final word.
Yeah, absolutely. So, before we end that, just go to a courtroom and sit for a trial, sit for some of the hearings, sit for whatever you can. It will greatly help you in the future. Absolutely.
There's one follow-up question, and then,
Sure.
and then we'll move to the topic.
Sure.
Josh is also asking, well, what if they ask you about error rates, for example, on metadata? What do you say? Well, again, that speaks to how well do you know your field, right? If I'm gonna use a method, right, that's a black box that I cannot explain how the outputs, or I couldn't verify the outputs, I'm gonna be in trouble, right? And imagine that you take some AI, ask it a question, you take the answer and give it to the court. Well, what about the error rate of the AI? Well, I don't know. I just had the AI tell me the answer. Oh, you're gonna be in trouble, right? So I guess what I'm saying with that is, whatever your procedure is that you're gonna use, you gotta understand, how good or how bad it is. With metadata, it's a process that's so well known, right? That's been verified a lot. I don't know if do I have you still, Heather? I think I'm losing my internet here.
Oh no, I gotcha. I can still hear you.
Okay, perfect. And so again, you really have to understand what process are you using, right? And what are trying to tell you with that, right? And again, a process where it's hard to calculate error rates, well, you need to think about that. Maybe you want to use another process to get to your answer, a process that has a better track record, that's more in use with the field, and that you yourself, the examiner, understand, all right? And you go with that. So your preparation, how you run your cases, just taking shortcuts might get you there faster, but then it's going to bring you back to the beginning if you don't understand what you just did. Does that sound good to you, Heather? What do you think?
It does, and I'm going to call out Josh in our comments for helping you get more AI into this episode when it was supposed to be AI free.
I told you I was gonna try.
I know you're being quite successful at it. I have to put one other comment up. Yeah, so this is my coworker. Kevin Salhoff says that's why I like to get arrested regularly so I can get courtroom experience. That's great. That's great, Kevin.
Yeah. Look, of all the places I could sit at court, the defendant's table is the one I don't want to be sitting at.
Yeah, me either. I
try to avoid that.
Kevin tries to avoid it as well. Yeah, no. Oh boy, he's at work watching this, I bet. So yeah, I just want to throw a little dig into Kevin. I'm not at work.
Well, he's working and listening, so we appreciate you, man.
He is.
Thanks for the joke. I'm gonna assume it's a joke, okay?
Yeah. Oh, it better be.
Better be, right?
Yeah. So, artifact of the week. Been doing the artifact of the week. So my question to everybody is, are you getting those BFU extractions? If your phone is in a before first unlock status, is it worth getting that before first unlock partial file system extraction? I say yes. The reason I say yes, could there actually be illicit images and videos in a BFU that relate to the device user? I used to say probably not, because the BFU really didn't have the capability of getting through the security mechanisms to reach, like it doesn't have the capability to reach the DCIM folder or the third-party app folders. But there's some other locations in these devices that a BFU is able to interact with and pull images and videos that may be related to the device user. So I'm going to just throw a quick little PowerPoint up here because it's easier than me trying to work with these sharing screens. But have you ever heard of file provider storage? So I hadn't until I did a BFU on one of my test phones, and I saw images and videos that I had actually taken with my test device in this file path. So file provider storage is another source of user data in a BFU extraction. And the way Apple explains it is iOS file provider storage is a feature introduced in iOS 11 that allows third-party apps to interact with files stored on the device or in cloud-based storage devices. The feature enables apps to present a unified view of files from multiple sources such as iCloud Drive, Dropbox, Google Drive, and OneDrive, and allows users to manage and interact with those files directly within the app. So why is this good for the BFU? This is good for the BFU because that file provider storage will show you these images and videos with the metadata. So all of the images and videos from my test data were showing that they were taken with the iPhone 7. And that's the test phone I used. And that file path actually also contains a trash folder. So I haven't quite figured out what the trash folder means in relation to the images and videos that are in there, because I don't have the full file system. So I don't have the full picture on a BFU. But there's potential to get user images and videos, and potential to maybe in your CSAM cases have those illicit images and videos access to them.
And depending on again, this is a section of the iOS workings that we do more research on, as Heather said. Mm-hmm. But I've seen in other cases where the file provider, there's a little field called metadata, and if you go and look into it, you will find additional information about that file. In one of those, I found a URL, and that URL we visited, on a online unattributed device, law enforcement computer, and we found a copy of that CSAM, that image, which mm-hmm. stands to reason that's the possible origin. Later we were able to look at some other artifacts, because we had a full file system at that point, but we were able to then look at some other artifacts and correlate them with that image as coming from the link on the website. But the main point is that there might be some good evidence, and we're thinking, well, BFUs, there's nothing there, it's trash. No, there might be some evidence there that might be useful for your CSAM cases, and we want to make you aware that this is one of those locations. Same thing with, I was talking with Heather, the photo picker functionality of mm-hmm. an iOS device. Whenever you go into any app and you're going to select that picture, let me give you a background for the folks. Back in the day, when you wanted to share a picture with an app, the app would have access to all your pictures, like the whole album, right? Well, the photo picker functionality now segregates that. The photo picker will only send the pictures you want to the app and nothing more. Apps don't have full access to your albums and your pictures anymore. That's why it's called Photos Picker. Mm-hmm. But the moment you select Photo Picker, certain copies of those images get placed in these different directories within Photo Picker itself. And some of them might remain, some of them might be shown in different extractions. So start opening your mind and start understanding, well, what's the Photo Picker functionality for? What's that file storage that we're talking about functionality for? Where have I seen it? And do more testing. And this is something that as a community we should all be involved in. Not just wait for Heather to do it and then say, well, Heather said. No, get some test phones. Try it yourself. Do some BFU extractions and see what you can get, what you don't get. And help us kind of figure out and verification of that data, and then validation of the process that Apple uses, so we can take that and make proper conclusions from those.
Yeah, I actually bring this up because it just came up. One of my coworkers, one of the analysts in my office, saw stuff in a file provider storage and was like, how is this in a BFU? And so we looked at it together. I'm like, I have a couple slides on the file provider storage. Let's check it out. And he did a great job figuring it out. And now he has evidence in a BFU for a case, and potentially may never get the full file system extraction had he not gotten the BFU extraction because there's nothing in those, or had he not even reviewed the BFU extraction, he may never know that evidence lies right there in that partial file system.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah. There's another thing too. Recently, we saw in a BFU. So I don't know if everybody's aware of Scott Koenig, the forensic scooter, and his wonderful work on the iOS photos.SQLite. So recently, I've seen in some of the test BFU extractions some of the shared with you syndication photo library related images and videos. That's also going to be actual user images and videos. The only downside to those being in the BFU is you don't have access to the photos.SQLite database in the BFU. So it's kind of hard to trace the origination of the photos or know which apps they came from. But it's still good evidence if the images and videos are there. I mean, what if you have the video of the homicide? Do we really, at that point, need to know which app it came from in the photo SQLite? We've got the act being committed. So I mean, just don't discount those BFU extractions. Absolutely.
No, that's yep. And this feels like cyclical, right? We have access, then they cut off the access, the vendors, and then we're back to logicals and BFUs, but then we get the access. So we need to be really proficient in trying to squeeze as much data out of whatever extraction that we want or that we have. So yeah, don't disregard it. Always do your due diligence. Have probity. Make sure that you do a good job, and attention to detail. Those are 3 most important things.
So what's new with the leaps? We have this week. So
yeah,
I'm gonna call myself out first, and then you can talk about the new the new parsers. But I'm gonna call myself out because I've been saying that I was going to record and put up an instructional video related to Lava and its functionality. Lava is gonna be the new viewer for the leaps. And I'm going to make that promise today that I will get it by the end of the week. And if I tell everybody on here, then I have to do it. I keep putting it off. I get too busy or something comes up. So look forward to that instructional video so you guys can get a look at Lava and how it's going to work with the leaps in the future, because it's going to be probably coming out pretty soon. So
yeah, and I also have a video already of how to make artifacts Lava compliant. And then Heather's gonna really showcase the viewer and all the different things that we're putting into it. Well, we is a lot of people. Johan and Kevin and James, but not me. I'm not touching the Lava code.
Yeah, Johan says we will remind you. Thank you, Johan.
Thank you.
That's what I need. Other new things with the leaps. What do you got?
Yeah, so somebody had a Cash App situation where the applications were not showing us the stuff, and I update. So let me step back. We had a parser in the leaps, but the parser needed updating, and looking at the parser, the way it was extracting the data, there was a better way of doing it. So I took the opportunity for the request and then remade it, refactor it. And it's working really good now. So it is interesting. It's interesting because it's a SQLite database, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Heather.
It is.
And inside the database, it has protobuf in it, right?
It does.
And inside the protobuf, there's JSON.
Yes. Yep. So I could see it, and I'm like, okay, I need the data that is inside the database, inside the protobuf, inside the JSON, and I know I can get it out of the SQLite database, but I called in reinforcements for the additional nested data.
Yeah.
So
and it wasn't too hard. It's just that say what?
No, you're good.
Oh yeah, so it wasn't that hard to get out. So as long as you understand what protobuf is, what JSON is, what SQLite is, and our previous parser was doing some casting that I didn't like, so we just fixed it. It's working really good. So I'm happy that it does. Everybody can benefit from that. So that's the Cash App. Very nice. Yes. And then I did one for our leap for the returns. Snapchat changed the format of their returns. So I did one for the conversation within Snapchat. I also make it Lava compliant, which is pretty convenient. Usually on this, and correct me if I'm wrong, tell me about your experience, but for me, the main two ones are the conversations and the memories.
Mm-hmm.
When they get those returns, I don't have an sample data of the memory, so I'm waiting for someone to tell me, hey, I got some data I can share with you. And then with that,
Yeah.
when I provided some examples, then I can actually update it. But for now, I can only update conversations as the data set that I had on hand for the latest return. So that's done. So that's pretty good.
Nice.
And
Very
then
good.
there's a couple of more things that have been merged about application state DB and showing some metadata about application usage in iOS. I haven't had a time. I don't have time to run it and test it, but I know it's been merged because Kevin and some of the folks in the team also are able to do testing and merge as needed. So it doesn't have to be only me. Thank goodness. So we got capable people checking those out. So I gotta test it myself and see what other new data points that Artifact has. But it's for the application state.db. Really useful. Is the main way of understanding what applications are installed on the device. It maps the bundle ID or the name of the application with the folder or directory where the application lives. It also tells you what the app is and what the sandbox is, but this parser adds additional information from that database that we don't have right now. So that's pretty cool. And
nice. I have to
and
test that
Lava
out
is
too.
still going.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have to run it. I have to run a couple things to be up to date with all the things that are changing.
Nice. So look for the videos on how to use Lava coming up shortly.
No, it's gonna be
So-
awesome. I think folks are gonna dig it.
Yeah. So we had an exciting day a couple of days ago, right? August 25th was the 2-year anniversary of the Digital Forensics Now podcast. So woohoo, we've been doing this for 2 years now, which is insane. Yeah, with no fireworks
It
in the
is
car,
insane.
huh?
Oh, what? No fireworks? How could that be? Let's see.
I don't know. I didn't see
Let's
any.
we can get some fireworks. Well, look. I'm gonna give you some lasers
Oh,
first.
there we go. There we go.
Warm it up, and then there you go. 2 years.
Perfect. 2 years.
There, yeah. They should have one with cake or something, but they only
Yeah,
have balloons now.
definitely.
So if you're listening, I'm just putting reactions on the screen, and there's balloons and fireworks going off. So me being silly. So
Yeah. So yeah, 2 years, insane. I can't believe it's been 2 years. I'm a lot less nervous now.
you sure are, and you let's leave it there. I was gonna make some jokes, but it's okay. It's all good.
Oh, you can. It won't hurt my feelings.
No. Yeah, when we started, Heather wouldn't say a word. She was really quiet, and now I have to fight her to talk. But
Just tell me to shut up.
Because no, I talk too much as is, so it's good. It's a good thing that you're more talkative now.
I'm just trying to compete with you now.
No, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I want that. People super bored of me right away. So I appreciate you growing into the co-host position, and you're awesome, and I'm glad you have you. So thank you.
So for the 2 years of Digital Forensics Now podcast, we're going to do a little giveaway for 2 people. So I'm going to put up our lovely little wheel here. Let me share my screen.
Thank you, Johan, for the happy 2 years. It's amazing. We never thought we'd be doing this for this long, or that.
Oh my God, I know.
Really, we really get value out of it. So we're happy that that's the case. All right, do it, Heather. Do it. Let's
So
see.
anybody who liked and shared the post I put up earlier in the week will get a chance to win something that I'm going to surprise you with. So I'm going to spin the wheel for our first winner. And our first winner is Roberto. Oh, no, that's not what it landed on. Okay, my screen looks different.
I think. Yeah, no, it's Roberto Orozco, but the thing thought it was.
That's our winner. Yep, our winner is Roberto Orozco.
Oh, I can't see. I'm old. I can't see. Orozco. There we go. Roberto. All
right,
Orozco.
let me spin it for the next one.
Yeah.
I think it's not landing on the right one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ashley Holdbrook is our second one.
Wow. You wanted her to win.
It did.
I know Ashley.
Okay.
She's awesome. She's great. I was gonna feel sorry, like, girl, your name came up, but then you didn't win really, but then she actually won really.
Yeah, I'm going with the two that
damn.
the pointer actually pointed to, and then I don't know what's up with the Wheel of Names website, but the two that it actually pointed to, Roberto and Ashley, I'll reach out to you on LinkedIn and just ask you for your address at some point so I can send you some Digital Forensics Now podcast swag.
Oh, I'm so happy that Ashley actually won along the merits in the second run.
Definitely.
That was
Yeah, I don't know what's up with
I
my
was gonna feel
wheel.
bad for her.
Me too. I don't know
It's
what's up with the
broken.
wheel. The wheel is broken. Yes. So I'll reach
The
out to
wheel
both
of
of you.
misfortune.
Yeah. And
Oh,
now we're to our favorite part of the show, the meme of the week. So let me share the meme of the week. And I think everybody is going to agree with us on this one. Let's see here.
let's see it.
Here we go. So we have the groceries all knocked off of the shelves in the grocery store into the middle of the aisle. It is an absolute disaster. And the meme reads, also, I need you to finish this case that the other examiner started. I don't know how things have been going. And this doesn't just apply to work. Like, this is everything in my life right now. So I don't know how things have been going for you, but this summed it up for me, which is why I chose it.
And then they have to take my case, and all my notes are done in the notes of the examiner in post-its, and I'm like, what is this? How are they supposed to go? Is this
Yeah.
are these notes? These are post-its. What the heck is this? I'm supposed to finish this case now? And then your ears are ringing because they're thinking
Yeah.
of you.
It's just the also I need you to finish this part, and it's in every aspect at the moment. So the to-do list is insane.
Yeah, the also word there really brings it home for
Yeah,
you.
it totally does. I think you've kind of had the same thing going on lately. So
Yeah, and at a certain level, the work that we do, we're kind of the cleanup guys in a sense, because there's something happened, right? And there's some
Yep.
theories of what happened, but it's up to us, the folks on the back end, to actually put some of those pieces together in a really structure and approvable way. So we end up having to do that type of work and clean up all the time.
Yeah.
Man, but it's good. It's all good. We do it with a good attitude, hopefully.
Of course, always, right?
Of course. We don't curse or get mad on people. We're happy.
I
We're happy
don't.
people. Well,
So that's it. That's
that's
all I've
the
got.
end.
2
That's
years.
the end.
2 years done.
Yeah. No, this baby is now what? It's gonna eat solids now. It's eating solids
Yeah.
now, so it's walking possibly. Who knows?
Terrible twos are over.
Well, actually, they're starting. So let's hope they're not that terrible.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
Well,
Well,
thank you for the show, Heather. Being
Thank
patient
you.
with me and my crappy connection for my car. We will plan for hopefully not another month go by, because it's just life's been crazy. But we'll try to do an
Yeah.
episode when it's supposed to be, and we'll keep you all posted. Follow us the Digital Forensics Now podcast LinkedIn page for updates, Heather's page, my page, and anything else for the good of the other, Heather?
That's it. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in today at the strange hour we have the podcast.
Strange hour, strange day. It's all good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Take care, folks. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. There we go. A different song for you right there.
Yeah.